My name is Baroness Inge Razi, and I'm recording this for anyone who needs it of use, who struggles with written word, or would like to hear the Marshal's Handbook read aloud. If you have any comments, complaints, or concerns, I take responsibility. You may find me in Atlanta for this recording. So, this is the Marshal's Handbook, July 2020. This is the third video series of this series of reading the Marshal's Handbook. And in this section, we will be covering the use of weapons and shields, as well as the acknowledgement of blows, as seen on page 11. Please feel free to look at my YouTube channel for other sections covering the rest of this manual as I produce videos of the sections. All right. 4. The use of weapons and shields. A. Weapons shall be used in accordance with their design. For example, spears may only be used for thrusting, axes for striking along the edge of the blade, etc. A1. Only weapons approved for thrusting may be used for that purpose. Feinting, as if to thrust at the weapon not approved for that purpose, is prohibited. Before any bout where a thrusting weapon is used, the opponent in marshals shall be informed that such a weapon is on the field, and the thrusting tip shall be shown to the opponent. A2. The blade of an opponent's weapon may not be grasped at any time, nor may it be trapped in contact with the fighter's body as a means of preventing the opponent's use of the weapon. Armored hands may grasp the haft of an opponent's weapon. B. The striking surface of a weapon in motion may not be grasped or blocked by the hands or limbs as a means of impeding a blow. B1. If a combatant intentionally places an illegal target area, for example, an empty hand and or lower leg, including the knee and foot, in the path of a blow, the combatant forfeits that attached limb as if it had been struck an illegal target area. B2. Inadvertently bringing the hands in contact with the striking surface of a weapon in motion, as when attempting to block a blow with another weapon, shall not be considered to be in violation of this convention. C. Blows repeatedly blocked by a weapon in contact with a fighter's helm, body, or shield at the moment of impact may, at the sovereign or marshal's discretion, be considered to have broken the blocking weapon. This will force a fighter to forfeit the fight unless a secondary weapon is carried or the opponent chooses to allow the fighter to rearm with another weapon. D. A shield or weapon may be used to displace, deflect, or immobilize an opponent's shield or weapon, so long as such use does not endanger the safety of the combatants. A shield or haft may be safely placed against the opponent's body to restrict his ability to strike or defend. E. Shields must be controlled by the hand. Use of passive shields, not controlled by the hand, will be treated as decorative armor and subject to effective blow acknowledgement. F. A combat archer may carry and use shield or pavois. However, as long as they are carrying it, they cannot span their weapons. V. Acknowledgement of blows. A. Judging the effects of blows is left to the honor of the combatant being struck by the weapon, unless he or she relinquishes this responsibility, with the exception of clear violations of the rules of the list or the conventions of combat. Effectiveness of a blow may not be judged by the opposing combatant, the marshal in the field, or other observers. Information unavailable to the combatant being struck may be supplied by the opposing combatant or the marshal, including blade orientation upon impact, apparent force transmitted, or apparent location and angle of the blow's impact used upon the observer's angle of observation. B. When judging the effect of blows, all fighters are presumed to be fully armored. Special tournaments or combat rules may redefine what areas of the body are armored, and to what extent, so long as all the participants are made aware of the special conditions prior to the start of combat. B1. All fully armored fighters are presumed to be wearing a chain hauberk over a padded gambeson with boiled leather arm and leg defenses and an open-face iron helm with a nasal. The helm may be presumed by Kingdom Convention to include a very light chain mail drape, permitting vision and resisting cuts by the mere touch of a bladed weapon. 1A. Under this standard, an acceptable cutting blow to the face would be lighter than to other portions of the head or body. Areas deemed illegal to strike: the wrist from 1 inch or 25.4 millimeters above the hands, the legs from 1 inch or 25.4 millimeters above the knees and below, shall be considered safe from all attack. 1B. The minimum effective thrusting blow to the face shall be a directed touch, and the maximum shall be substantially lighter than to other parts of the body. C. An effective blow will be defined as a blow which was delivered with effective technique for the particular type of weapon used, properly oriented, and struck with sufficient force. C2. An effective blow to the head, neck, or torso shall be judged fatal or completely disabling, rendering the fighter incapable of further combat. C3. An effective blow from an axe, mace, polearm, greatsword, or other mass weapon which lands on the hip, above the hip socket, or strikes the shoulder inside the shoulder socket shall be judged fatal or completely disabling. C4. An effective blow to the arm above the wrist will disable the arm. The arm shall then be considered useless to the fighter and may not be used for either offense or defense. C5. An effective blow to the leg above the knee will disable the leg. The fighter must then fight kneeling, sitting, or standing on the foot of the uninjured leg. Kingdoms may place limitations upon the mobility of such injured fighters. C6. If a wounded limb blocks an otherwise acceptable blow, the blow shall be counted as though the limb were not there. D. Changes to blow acknowledgement standards may be made on per combat, per scenario, or per tournament basis, but thereafter will revert to the standards above. Alternate acknowledgement standards do not alter the allowed target areas, nor do they increase the basic force level for a telling blow. All combatants must be informed of any changes to standard blow acknowledgement before they participate in the combat. E. When judging the outcome of a delivered blow, all fighters are expected to take into account the nature of the weapon being used by their opponent and the location of the point of impact of that weapon. A blow that strikes with sufficient force and proper orientation shall be considered effective, regardless of what it hits prior to striking the combatant. F. Sometimes a blow that would normally be accepted occurs at almost the same moment as an event that would cause the fight to be stopped, a hold being called, the killing of the fighter throwing the blow, etc. If the blow was begun before the occurrence of the event that would cause the bout to be halted, and if of sufficient force, it shall be deemed a legal blow and acceptable. If the blow was begun after the occurrence of the event that would cause the bout to be halted, it shall be deemed not legal and need not be accepted. G. A blow that includes the dropping of a weapon at the moment of impact need not be counted. Note, if the force of the blow causes the weapon to be dropped, the rule shall be suspended. H. Owing to safety limits placed on combat archery equipment and the low mass of the ammunition, arrows and bolts strike with less force. They need not strike with the same force as handheld weapons for the strikes to be considered killing blows. This does not transfer the responsibility of judging the effect of blows to the archer. It is left to the honor of the combatant being struck by the weapon to judge the effects. I. Weapons, bows and crossbows, that are underpowered and have not historically delivered enough force for a fighter to notice a hit in battle. Please be aware of all the factors that impact blow calibration for combat archery, including target archery, weapon strength, and ammunition choice.